first to try crossing the old wall since the anomaly has moved in. But we'll make sure you're the first to survive. 2 things to keep in mind. First, to get through the old wall, there are 5 crossing points. You need to induce the electrical grid the entire way by driving the car close enough and fast enough along the conductors. You'll see them as you go. Once you jumpstart the grid, Tobias will route the mid-zone power your way, but no induction, no power, no crossing. Second, watch your battery gauge. You will live or die by that thing. Got it? Good. Start by connecting the power grid at the first crossing point. The controls will be up in the observation tower. There are old shuttle stops at each crossing point. Use them to recharge your battery and hope they're still in working condition after all these years. Tobias, how's the power routing?
Well, the neighbors are complaining about the flickering lights, but I told them to light some candles and sit tight.
Francis?
Levels are good, holding steady.
Circuit complete. Keep it up, driver. Interference, Tobias. The power supply is wavering.
I'm working on it. Our local battery farm's putting up a fuss. She hasn't been taxed like this in a while, but I'm easing her into it, don't worry.
Battery farms 1 through 3 are reporting total power drain. They're spent.
How long to recharge?
Could take up to a day.
No, I got this.
Shit! Total power loss on stations 9 through 15.
I'm on it. Oh, shit.
Get that power back up. The gate at the final crossing point won't open without it.
I'm rerouting power from Battery Farm 6.
Easy. Too much and you'll blow out your control center.
Too little and the entire array's going down. We have no choice.
damned if I'm gonna let this plan fail. We're too close. Your theory, we can still prove it.
Stop! It's too dangerous out there! Tobias! Please, Tobias, come back! Tobias, please come back!
I'm at the battery farm. The fuse box is completely liquefied, but I can bypass it.
Francis, I need you back at the control board.
Not now, Ollie!
The minute Tobias reroutes that line, we need to push the connection. Miss it by a split second and we lose the entire power grid.
Almost ready.
Please don't do this!
Francis, it's now or never.
I'm rerouting the grid now. I'll be ready for you.
Stay with us.
I got you, Hoppy. Friends. Well, what do you know? One time, I ran myself out of things to say. Hoppy, take care of him for me.
Tobias!
Francis, I love you forever.
I love you forever.
Power's back online. Francis, now!
Tobias, answer. Tobias, answer.
Don't do it. You can't go out there. Driver, the power's holding steady. You can open that final gate. The entire area got scrambled in instability. I'm afraid Tobias.
I told you. I told you, didn't I? We weren't ready. We should have planned it better. We should have known.
We did the best we could.
No, do not give me that. If we had, he'd be here with us.
I'm sorry, but we've got to help the driver.
Don't you dare. What? Wait, is this how you dealt with Alan's death? You put your head down and let work fill the gaps?
Actually, that's precisely what I did. And you'll recall the breakthrough in self-healing materials that I made that year.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm sure Alan would have been very proud of you using his death that way.
You know what? That whole pep talk I gave you before to convince you to go through with it. That's precisely the same crap Alan would tell me all the time. It's worth the sacrifice. Stay late, don't worry about me. Finish your work, then we can start a family. Always he'd spew that crap.
So why'd you say it to me?
Because he has to have been right. Because if I let myself think he was wrong, then I can't live with that regret.
I gave everything for them. This is the last thing I'm holding on to for myself. Every single day, I still think about how if I had left the zone when we had planned to, I wouldn't have lost Alan. I thought, I hoped that Lid Tech was done killing our own. I'm sorry about Tobias.
Tobias was all I had. I need to sign off for a while.
We'll be here when you're ready. Glad you got through, driver. Power on that stabilizer, and I'll see you back at the garage. Welcome back. Now we know where the well is.
But you're the first to step foot in the deep zone in over 15 years. And I need more time to understand Alan's suppression method. So why don't you stretch your legs and chart the deep zone while you're at it? We'll need to map a way to the well as it is.
On the corner of the block where we all came from, when we were water bottle bruising in the basement. Older sisters always hated when we blamed them. Cries in foam sweaters from the 90s when our folks were still together. Your love is black and gray, and I hated you for walking away. Honestly, I do the same. And we weren't always telling lies. I was just a series of goodbyes.
Francis, I don't know if you're listening. A while ago, you asked me why I cared so much about the remnants. It's because
Because I saw Alan the night of the accident, during the mass hallucination. Except,
I'm not sure it was a hallucination. We had a tradition. When we were both working late, he'd swing by my lab for a coffee break at some ungodly hour. That night, he visited. We talked. The coffee burned my tongue. Nothing out of the ordinary. Seconds later, the gamma ray surge swept through the facility and the roof caved in. I looked for him in the aftermath. I couldn't find him anywhere because he hadn't been in my lab. He was ground zero at the accident site, miles away in the deep zone. But I saw him, touched him, smelled his cologne. He was there, impossibly there, more than a hallucination.
You never reported that?
Admit to Arda that I communed with my husband's ghost. When they were already looking for ways to push me out, not a chance. I gave them my technology and my home, but I'd be goddamned before I let anything destroy my professional credibility.
And this remnant...
It's my last chance to know if what I saw was true. If it came from the well, or if it was all in my head. The things we spoke of.
Things that he couldn't have made up. Never mind. I know how it sounds.
Like you've seen a ghost.
Good news. I can replicate Alan's suppression method. We'll stand some chance of halting the gamma ray burst from the well. 30 years later, my late husband still manages to impress. Figuring out how to keep you alive once the reaction gets going, however...
That's harder, but I have an idea. Francis, I need your ear.
Go on.
We know that as soon as the car gets to the well, the trigger will be instant. Once this remnant expends its energy, gamma radiation will erupt from the well, and the driver will be at ground zero taking the worst of it.
But can we activate
The gateway as soon as they make contact?
It's tricky. Too early, and we may interrupt whatever reaction process the remnant carries out. Too late, and it's bad news for the driver. There's too many unknowns. Only the driver will know the right time to use it.
How can you be sure they'll live long enough to make that call?
The ARC device has been transmitting data every single second since it was installed. Every drop of fuel, every spark plug that car's lit, I have on record.
You've been running an experiment this entire time, with the driver as the guinea pig.
The mere act of being alive is the biggest experiment of all, dear.
Is that another one of Alan's sayings?
That one's all mine. Driver, we've seen that car protect you this entire time. It's triggered a gateway in your time of need. It's ferried you back to the garage through every circumstance and obstacle and bump in the road. So we can trust that it'll protect you long enough to get you away from whatever and wherever you end up.
Still sounds like a heavy dose of blind faith to me.
Could be. Oh, there's one last part to this, and it's waiting for you back at the auto shop. Take your time. Enjoy the view. Fresh new upgrade waiting for you, driver. Straight out of the oven.
What do you think, Francis?
It could work.
It will work. We don't know anything about the well, but the driver doesn't have to go in completely empty-handed.
You're removing the ARC device's limiter and overloading its charge capacity.
Right. So no matter how much energy the car's getting blasted with, the ARC will be able to overpower it to open a gateway. It's the only way to extract the driver from whatever's going to happen at the trigger point.
And then we use Alan's suppression technique to keep the whole thing from completely exploding? This sounds like a lot.
It's what we've got. Driver, go on and install that ARC device modification. We'll spin up the suppression system in the meantime. ARC device mod's looking good. Now you can head out and overcharge it. We'll give you instructions when you're en route.
Give us the rundown, Francis.
What, me?
The electrical grid is your department.
You know the plan as well as I do.
So you'd rather trust me than have to speak up for yourself? Guess you're on your own, driver. Good luck.
Okay, fine. The regular anchors aren't enough to overcharge the arc device to the level we need. But there's an old
Anomaly barricade we can piggyback onto. It's archaic technology, an early attempt to stop anomalies from drifting out into the wider Olympic Peninsula. It worked for some time,
Until it didn't.
but long enough to get the old wall built.
The barricade's in bad shape, but what's a little rampant voltage leakage? Not like the ghosts and goblins of the Deep Zone will mind. And if they do, more the better for Francis. Huh?
appreciate the olive branch, Abby, but boy, do you have a lot to learn about the paranormal. I'd be happy to give you a primer after all this is over.
Ugh, hard pass. I'm far too old for that.
The car will induce a current along the barricade, in the same way you did it crossing the old wall. Every connection point needs to be induced within a limited time. Electrify the entire barricade, and we'll have all the power we need.
You heard him. Floor it, driver.
You're near the barricade's operating station. Can you get in there and look around? We need something that'll give us the lay of the land.
Perfect. I'm uploading the barricade map to your ARC device. By my calculations, if you electrify all 8 posts...
You'll have all the power you need. Oppie, does that seem right?
Does it seem right to you?
I think so. Yeah, I ran the numbers a few times, and I...
Then get to it, driver.
readings at 4.2 gigajoules and holding steady.
Good. Then we're all set. The arc device is ready to go. It'll hold that charge for as long as we need it. Pedal to the metal, driver. Storm's coming.